Okay, so to start, we have a hexagon as a whole. There are two halves of a hexagon, and there are four pieces of a hexagon here. Brian says that the fraction 1/2 and 1/4 are the same. However, Angie says that's not correct, that the two fractions 1/4 and 2/4 are the same because of both the numbers have 4 in the denominator. Who is right? Explain. Okay, so the first one we have to look at is that there is a half on top of the hexagon. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then a fourth would only cover this portion of the hexagon. Okay, so what Brian is saying by 1/2 and 1/4 are the same, we can see visually that they are not the same because 1/4 is actually half of a half. Okay, Angie is telling us that 1/4 and 2/4 are the same. We can see that they are the same because when we take the 2/4 and put them on top of the half of the hexagon, they're the same. So Angie would be correct. Moving on to our fraction bars, we can see this same thing because Brian is saying that 1/4 and 1/2 are the same. Here we have a hole as the brown bar. The yellow is a half because 2 of them fit in the hole, and the red is a 1/4 because 4 of them fit in the hole. If we have 1/2 of the fraction bar and 1/4 of the fraction bar, we can see that 1/4 as the red and 1/2 as the yellow are not the same, so Brian would be incorrect. If we look at Angie's, she is saying that 1/2 and 2/4 are the same. So we can look at this again, that the brown is our whole, and there are 2 parts, so 1/2 and 1/2 equals a whole. And the red is 4, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that make up a whole. So if we take 1/2 and 2/4 here, we can see that they are the same. There are 2/4 that make up half of the whole. So Angie would be correct. Looking at our number line, this is drawn out to where we have 0 on the left-hand side, and we have 1, which is equivalent to 4/4, which is also equivalent to 2 halves, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. Then in the middle of our number line, we have it divided into 4s. So we have 1/4, 2/4, which is equivalent to 1/2, because 2/4 is also 1/2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then we have 3/4, and then we have the 4/4, or 2 seconds, or 1. So we can see where Brian is saying that 1/4 and 1/2 are equivalent is not true, because 1/4 is closer to 0 than 1/2 is. However, when we look at Angie's as 2/4 being equivalent to 1/2, we can see that they are the same in the spot on the number line. So Angie would be correct.